Hey everyone, this is House of Mouse Reviews here today for a special review with a co-host. You may remember we did a video together in 2020 predicting Super Smash Bros. Ultimate DLC Pack 2. But let's be fair, we both got a lot of it wrong, bar maybe one, but here we are.
One slight. I'm here, it's B-Rad, your boy Bradley Martin here again today. It's good to have you back on the Has a Review show after, 3 years or so?
Yeah, you've done a lot of uni work, but yeah, it's good to have you back, brother.
Oh, it's good to be here, man. So, Harry, what have you brought me in for today?
Well, I thought you would have said it already. We are here to review the Super Mario Bros. Movie together.
Released on April 5th, 2023, Super Mario Bros. Movie has been the long-awaited animated Mario adaptation on the big screen since the live-action movie all the way back in 1993.
And the first anime movie released in theaters since the Japan-only anime movie.
This has been a hugely hyped-up movie for not just you and I, but for all Mario fans who went to go watch it. And just to say off the bat, it was a good movie. Really enjoyed it, really liked it, but I felt like it was still worthwhile to talk about our personal opinions, me coming on for it, because I know you liked parts of the movie more than I did. I liked parts more of the movie than you did.
You did, yes, and I think we both have very different opinions, and maybe even more favourable things compared to others with this film, and whether or not we think this is better than some other video game adaptations we have seen.
Yeah, it's good to sort of work on that, figuring out what our opinions lie with this film. So, Alistair, let's take it away.
Let's get started.
Let's go. So here we are for the Super Mario Brothers review. We've decided to have a bit of a change in wardrobes, getting the hats on. I'm Mario, my brother's Luigi.
Let's just say it's not as full on as we did when we went to the actual movie, because on my own suggestion, which you agreed with, we actually went full on in costume.
True.
So, why don't we get started with our overall opinions? I mean, we both overall liked it, but it's clear to say that one of us liked it more than the other.
True. Definitely you liked it more than I did, Harry. I still liked the movie, don't get me wrong, but there were some problems I had with it being a movie, of all things. I felt like the characters were lacking a bit. There were plot elements that either were just sort of rushed over, didn't really get looked into, or were just sort of not needed, I think. I'll get to that major one in a minute. And also just, I think it was a bit too fast-paced, I found, too.
Well, one thing I guess I should mention is I actually went to see it a second time.
I've only watched it once
so far. And I really did enjoy it the first time, and I felt it was even better watching it a second time. I found the length fine. I felt everything went well. Pacing, the characters and all that.
Yeah.
And I thought it did actually work as a movie, although I will admit I do have my own problems. There are a few that might be similar to yours.
Right. So let's just start off with the basics. You want to go with the story?
Yes. Okay, so Mario and Luigi, as you know, are Italian-American plumbers living in the city of Brooklyn, New York. They've opened up their own plumber business, but they are clearly struggling because of, multiple reasons.
Thank you, Super Mario Bros. It seems like the only thing you haven't drained is my bank account.
But eventually, when they attempt to save Brooklyn from a leaky drain disaster,
Which, for the record, after it's introduced, does not come back in the finale.
they've discovered a walled-off area in the sewers that leads to a gigantic pipe that sucks the both of them up and taking them both to the Mushroom Kingdom. However, they're both separated. Mario ends up in the main area of the Mushroom Kingdom, ruled by Princess Peach, while Luigi ends up in a different area known as the Darklands, ruled of course by Bowser. Bowser is attempting to take over the Mushroom Kingdom and win over the favour of Princess Peach, which fans of Super Mario Odyssey will know what exactly he's trying to do.
Actually, just in Mario in general, Bowser trying to marry Peach is one of the more consistent elements within the series, even in the other movies.
Yeah, Luigi does get captured by Bowser's forces, along with a bunch of other residents of the Mushroom Kingdom, and it's up to Mario to go rescue his brother with the assistance of Peach, Toad, and the Kongs, mainly consisting of Donkey Kong and Cranky Kong.
Diddy makes an appearance, so does Dixie, but they're more just cameos, which might
Yeah.
as well get into that sort of cameo side for a minute. There's a ton of references to just the Mario lore, enough for franchise lovers like us and I could just like go hog wild in all the Easter eggs.
Yeah, and it's not just Mario, but also other Nintendo franchises too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, some of the characters you see in this. I mean, you've got Pauline, Toadette makes a bit of an appearance on a poster. Obviously, you got the Kongs, Diddy, Dixie, Chunky, Funky. I think makes an appearance. I believe Swanky Kong.
Yeah, I think
is in
Swanky
it.
was the
The
bodyguard. at
bodyguard,
front.
yeah. King Boo and King Bob-omb appear in the climax, which is one of my favorite moments in the movie. Involves King Bob-omb.
He got decimated. Rip that man.
We'll talk about our favorite moments later. I will explain another one characters, I should say, or species that appears in it, but we'll get to that when we talk about the post-credits scene.
Yeah. Back to the plot. I found it. Obviously, it's a Mario movie. I'm not expecting this giant like political Jurassic Park dinosaur sci-fi thing like the live-action film. It's meant to be something simple, fun adventure. But I have to admit, I was surprised because it's called the Super Mario Brothers movie, but Luigi's sort of relegated as the damsel in this.
Which, to be fair, you gotta admit, it actually works in this story. I mean, Mario arriving in the Mushroom Kingdom and being forced to merely rescue Princess Peach, while formulaic, doesn't exactly work in modern times.
Yeah, it's a bit of like old 1980s or just old
you
storytelling.
need, and I think it was best that Luigi was made the main goal for Mario.
And because it shows out the brotherly love
Exactly,
between the brothers. And that I do think they did a decent job at showing.
Yeah, the characterization, once again, much like, if you remember watching my review for the live-action movie last year, I did say that one of the best things was the chemistry of Mario and Luigi as brothers.
Yeah, even if Bob Hoskins and Joe Leguizamo were super drunk during filming, they still managed to carry over the relationship between the brothers.
And the same thing goes with here too. I can think of a lot of my favorite anime movies that revolve around relationships between brothers.
I think the other one starring Chris Pratt I can think of was Onward from...
Yeah, and going outside of Pixar, you've also got one of my favorites, Prince of Egypt with Moses and Ramses.
Yeah.
But with that said, it's more about the journey and experiencing the world of the Mushroom Kingdom for the very first time.
Something I've seen with some of the critics talking about the movie, who, for the record, haven't been too fond of the film, is that it requires a lot of outside knowledge of the games, which, for again, like I said, for us super fans, really is cool. Like when the Koopa Trooper that has a spiny shell as his helmet, like announces to Mario on the Rainbow Road that blue shell, it just hones in on the two. Like, that's a huge and cool moment. It's a great fan service thing. But like for a non-Mario fan or a casual moviegoer, it'd be kind of like, huh? Sort of moment. Like it's a bit sort of distancing, I feel at times, those references to the world.
Well, I will say, obviously, with the reviews at the moment, I think it's a 6.3 on Metacritic or whatever the other one, major one is.
I know the audience score is like 99%.
Yeah,
which I
exactly.
think even for this film is a bit too much. Like 99. Like
We'll get to that when we give our final rankings.
Toy Story is 100%. Is Mario movie on the level of Toy Story?
It's a different sort of beast with that, but again, we'll get to that when we give our final scores. But I will say, I think most people going into it are going to focus more on the internet critics, especially those who grew up with Mario, and I think they're the ones most people are going to trust.
Yeah, it's definitely a movie that was not only for fans, but definitely made by fans. You could tell that Illumination were really like proud to be working on this film. One thing I would say about the plot is, as I was saying earlier, it sort of moves around too quickly. There's not much breathing time for elements that are addressed to be properly discussed on. It was just sort of constantly moving from one place to the next to the next to the next. And it also sort of impacts the characters in a way. Like, for example, I called it like way before the films, because like Four-Man Spike, despite him being one of the first sort of roles announced for the film, literally the actor was in a podcast. That was the first ever detail we ever got.
Yep.
Literally only appears in the very first scene at Punch Out Pizzeria. And
I love that
really
place.
cool. And right at the end, literally no other reason. It was just sort of there to have a bit of an exposition of the Mario Brothers being in a bit of a low point in their lives with Mario Brothers Plumbing. They used to work for Spike, didn't like him, now they're out. That's all you need to know. I would like to learn more, but that's all we're given.
We'll get to more of that when we talk about the characters, but honestly, I don't think that's a problem. It matches the tone of the games, but you know what? I think it actually used the length of the movie to its advantage. I thought you got enough, you understood what was going on, and you could have fun with it.
True,
Besides, there are anime films where I have trouble getting used to the story. They're much worse, and at the very least, there's no insane plot twist at the end.
No, I just felt there's a bit too many like hard cuts, a bit too many stops on points where I think it could have use a little extra minute or so to discuss things.
well, let me ask-
Or might as well go out and say my big controversial opinion. I think the Kong's subplot, I don't think the Donkey Kong fine with being it, but I don't think the Kongs should have been in the film at all. Like, part of this plot is that Princess Peach is going to take on Bowser. She needs to hire out the Kong army. And the Kong army over in Donkey Kong Country, you think it's going to be a bit of a long journey to get there? No, it takes like 5 minutes. And once they get there, that's where the battle between Mario and Donkey Kong takes place, because Cranky has said it. So, like, if you defeat my son, we will work with you.
Which does make sense
And
in terms of the character Cranky Kong. But again, we'll talk about the characters later.
Yeah.
But
But then Mario wins, beats Donkey Kong, good fight scene. They build their cart set to Thunderstruck, really weird choice. We'll get to like that a bit later too. And then they ride off on the Rainbow Road back to the Mushroom Kingdom as a shortcut. Kongs get decimated by Bowser's troops, and they get captured alongside Luigi. Sorry. But then after that, once Mario rescues him at the end, do they come back to help fight? No. It's just Donkey Kong. The Kongs had no real purpose in the film. You could have just had Donkey Kong maybe Cranky, and that's that.
I think he needed at least for world building, honestly. But but look, can I just say this? How would you have felt at the end if they did a surprise villain with this film? If they got to Bowser, then all of a sudden say, surprise, he was being mind-controlled by Kamek. How would have you felt?
Hey there, this is Bradley at the editing desk. If you're wondering where Harry got this conversation topic from, how we went from Cranky Kong to this, I don't know. He just did that. Back to the video.
Or Foreman Spike was secretly present and orchestrating all the things and going on.
That would be dumb. That would be dumb if that was the case, not gonna lie.
I'm pretty sure it's come a common thing with films, including kids' films and anime movies, that it can really let down the experience. And honestly, I was glad that it kept to the premise and there was no twist like that. And to be fair, with the writing, with a lot of the jokes, both subtle and verbal, I actually did laugh a fair bit and giggle a bit.
Yeah, there were some funny moments. Nothing that made me laugh out loud, but still gave me a chuckle.
One thing, and perhaps my most relieving thing is, I think I addressed it when I reviewed Puss in Boots: The Last Wish last year. I was so relieved there was no fart jokes in this. It was
one burp and that was it.
Even then, you could sort of debate whether that counts.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was so relieved because
enough respect that we didn't.
Illumination is known to do fart jokes a lot.
Sort of lowbrow humor in general. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's again a common thing in anime kids films.
Sonic did it. It was weird, man. It was.
And going with the Sonic thing, I understand you don't want to pay reference to Chili Ducks, but
you have to go that route.
You didn't have to.
You did not have to.
And with Mario, unless Wario's doing it, you don't do it with this. I guess we should maybe stop it right there with the story.
All right, might as well talk about the characters.
We'll do the characters now. Yeah,
I think characters and voice actors sort of merge the two.
Yeah, I guess so. So let's just start off with who are our main characters. So we have Mario, Luigi, Princess Peach, Bowser, Toad, Donkey Kong, Cranky Kong, and Kamek are the main players. We also have Foreman Spike as addressed. And those who know the games will be impressed with how they kept to the character's essence. And there was some good, unique twists and character, quirks with them, actually.
Yeah, like Mario, he's established to be, a bit more of a brave person earlier on, but he's also one that's caught off guard easily. That's a bit of a thing that I remember seeing from the Mario and Luigi series I pretty liked from it, that even though he was always the one to regain his composure and get right into it, he got caught off guard just as much as Luigi did throughout the series. Luigi, cowardly, scary, his sort of arc was to become more confident. Fair enough, that's Luigi in a nutshell. Peach
is definitely the most different compared to what she is in the games, but something actually I'm kind of happy with.
Something close to the Super Mario Adventures comic, I sort of assume.
Or even Adventures of Super Mario Bros. 3 to some extent.
Yeah, someone who's like, she's a regal princess, but she's also like fully into the war and the effort and like protecting her shrooms.
The Toads, yeah.
Toad I actually found was a bit disappointing. Like
he's very hyperactive and in that.
Did he really do anything? He like met Mario at the start
and he is
stopped the blue and yellow Toad from.
And he's loyal to Peach regardless.
Yeah, but like he didn't really have much of a presence in the trio. He was just sort of there. He didn't do much for Toad stuff.
I think there was a few things. He did help Mario get into the castle.
That was the most he did.
And I think there's some other things too.
And he gave Peach an ice flower at the end there.
Yeah, there is some. I think there's. Yeah, I guess you can say that. Donkey Kong is very egotistical, very brash.
Very like I do like the rivalry they have with Mario.
Yeah,
it's
and
pretty fun.
Yeah, I will agree. But he's also got a good heart, and and is determined to gain respect from Cranky Kong. Which one thing we should also mention is with Mario is that we see in this Mario and Luigi's family.
Yeah,
And we see Mario's father that has his own issues with him. So it was a bit of a parallel to see that with Mario and Donkey Kong.
which they tried to address in one scene in the belly of the
Ilnagi.
the eel, but like if you think it's gonna go a full moment, but they stop it before they go on. It's one of the
I don't
it's a
think
routine problem of
I don't think it's that
animation.
bad. I don't think it's that bad because
I'd say
I,
it is.
hey, I saw Sonic the Hedgehog 2 last year, and there was a similar moment between Sonic and Knuckles, not to do with fathers, but their own bonding moment. And I can understand why you don't want to go as long as that. And I felt they used it to their benefit. I thought,
I don't know. It could have been more of a moment. But anyway, that aside, Cranky Kong
is the leader and is very, stubborn.
stubborn, not cranky.
But
Definitely.
we'll get to that when we talk about the voice.
His
voice
delivery.
the voice. But and Kamek is loyal to Bowser the whole way through. He obviously uses his magic to help Bowser conquer people. Interesting that I don't know how he's defeated in the climax. Actually,
I can't remember exactly either. But Bowser, might as well say it, really good.
oh yeah,
Fantastic portrayal of the Koopa King. Like leaps and bounds above the other two depictions. They did Bowser right. If there's anything I'm happy with, they did Bowser right, especially in the
he
voice
is
acting
he is
department.
very hot-headed. He's very fierce, determined.
He is determined, but he's also a softie. He's a chummy dude. He wants
but
to
he does-
marry Peach, and he's fully serious about it.
Yeah.
That's what makes the Koopa King great. He's both fearsome, but also just a complete chump.
Yeah, and again, there are other characters, or side characters. You see one of the Lumas. I think the name is Lumaly, as one who was prisoner along with Luigi and Cranky Kong later.
Just sort of there to be comic relief / depresso mode.
There's the Penguin King. There are other Toads who speak, though. One Toad who is more the wise, older Toad who's in Peach's war council when she's discussing her plan.
Why wasn't it Toadsworth?
Exactly.
It was like that's a character that hasn't appeared in the series since 2013, but
I mean,
I
it's
still miss him.
perfect. That is clearly Toadsworth. You really need to add him in there for that moment.
If I put the blue and yellow Toad at the front of the
Especially
castle.
when we get to Peach's back, if we talk about Peach's backstory.
Exactly.
Why wasn't he the one who cared for her when she became an orphan?
Especially since, like, because spoilers, they give a flashback to Baby Peach, but also Baby Mario, Baby Luigi. Toadsworth has a young counterpart and is shown in Paladins in Time. He was always
exactly.
there, yeah.
I mean, if Toadsworth wasn't, it would have been, a bit. I guess I would have been personally hoping for my dream cast person who I wanted to play him.
I think Charles should have been it, because Charles already played Toadsworth in the
Oh
games.
yeah, but if I'm gonna be seeing Toadsworth in an anime movie, I personally hope for Rowan Atkinson.
True. But, yeah, might as well, on the
Let's
topic of
get
Rowan
on-
Atkinson, let's talk about the casting.
Well, he's not here, but yeah, we'll talk about the cast.
Start with the big one, Chris Pratt. Honestly, not bad. Pretty fine.
Yeah, he did well. I think with this sort of Mario in this film,
Both an Italian, but also a Brooklynite, both mix.
he is his best moments are when he's meant to act very sincere, his determination and his love for and care for Luigi.
Yeah, I definitely I know it was like a big what the heck sort of moment when we saw Chris Pratt's face as the new voice of Mario for this film. And like the trailers also did a bit of a disservice with some of the lines, admittedly. Like that Wahoo was pretty weak. That's why
His
it got
ha ha
redubbed.
ha moment is good, actually.
Yeah, but like definitely when I was just sort of watching it, I didn't see Chris Pratt playing Mario. I saw Mario. Which
Exactly.
Is what I wanted.
I was impressed of how well he did it. He did well with his Mario.
Definitely not a great Mario, but I still saw Mario, which is what I wanted.
It'd be a lot harder for people to stomach if Chris Pratt, if this was his first ever animated movie,
Yeah.
or voice role. And I think honestly with Chris Pratt, I could accept it over time when I first announced it about him as Mario. I think his biggest test when it comes to voicing iconic characters will be next year when he does Garfield.
Yeah, that's the other one he's doing. Cheers to his agent for landing these two roles. But next voice, Charlie Day's Luigi. Perfect choice. Honestly, he captured Luigi.
I think everyone knew that was a perfect choice because even before this was announced, there are a lot of videos where people have Luigi imitating different roles done by Charlie Day.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, granted, I will say this: I think neither of us have seen It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I have I have bookmarked that to watch at some point in my life. But what I have seen of Charlie Day, he can be really funny, and
Yeah.
he is perfect as Luigi.
100%. He's pretty good. From there, you also
And you know,
have-
keeping on with Chris Pratt and Charlie Day, I'm not sure if people remember this, but they were in the Lego Movie together. Obviously, Chris was Emmett, but Charlie was Benny, the spaceman.
Yeah.
So they have worked together before in anime movies, and it obviously shows here.
Yeah. From there, Peach, Anna Taylor-Joy. I wasn't like she was alright, but I definitely didn't feel much of a Peach from her. She was.
You haven't seen her in anything. I did see her. She
recall.
was in The New Mutants, and well, I don't remember too much of her character, which I think was Ileana, I think. But she's a good up-and-coming actress, and I thought with what she did with this new Peach, I was quite impressed. Her confidence and caring moments, and even her support with Mario.
Yeah, true. Keegan-Michael Key as Toad. Not bad. Definitely embodied the Toad, but there just
Yeah.
wasn't enough presence for him.
I thought he didn't have much to do. He did enough to justify his casting. And
Yeah, I guess.
He sounded like Toad. I think that was many people were actually iffy over Chris Pratt. I was more concerned with what Keegan-Michael Key would do with Toad.
Not much.
But
then
honestly, I thought he did okay.
Donkey Kong, Seth
Seth
Rogen.
Rogen, yeah. I
pretty
thought
good.
Seth Rogen was. I mean, Seth Rogen's delivery is sort of on point to Grant Kirkhope's from Donkey Kong Country 64.
So it's Seth, really.
But I thought he actually did well with Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
He definitely sounded like him. And well, you do hear his laugh, his Seth's iconic laugh. It kind of works with Donkey Kong.
True.
I thought,
always
you know,
sort of
he-
worked, yeah.
And the moments when he's with Mario and when he's a bit brash or when he's sympathetic, I thought he did well. Shall we talk about?
Kamek.
That's Kevin Michael Richardson as Kamek.
Richardson is Kamek.
Kevin Michael Richardson is a great voice actor. He's done a lot of things, both in video games, TV shows, and movies.
Yeah.
So it was pleasant to see him be in this, and he's rising even more. I mean,
Yeah, I do think he did pretty good as Kamek. And then,
Sebastian Maniscalco as Spike for what little we saw of him.
yeah, it was alright. Definitely.
I mean, granted, Spike has
never.
never had a voice actor, so I
Yeah.
guess we could accept it for being the first one.
Yeah, still good for what it was. It's just there's no real reference material to go off of.
All right, before we get to, shall we do Martinet first?
Yeah, I mean, Charles Martinet makes 2 appearances. They made it certain, which if he wasn't going to be in the movie, I think
That would
would've
cause
been-
more of an outcry.
That would have been an outcry if he just wasn't there. And I think they sort of
The
got
two
impression
roles,
he might have
the two characters they gave him vote. I think we were expecting him to appear in make more cameos.
Yeah, same. I think that's sort of the wording I had too. But he had 2. There was Giuseppe, which was this random Italian man.
Who looks like Mario from the original Donkey Kong, and
Jumpman.
that's got his Mario voice.
His white hair, with Charles' white hair as well.
But he's also Mario and Luigi's father in this.
Yeah, because the Mario family make a bit of an appearance in this, something that we'd never really see much in the series. Mama and Papa Mario are the 2 main ones, but
I
then
don't-
there's a few of the cousins, which I found kind of weird.
And there's their uncles who's actually voiced by John DiMaggio.
Never really said who the family members were besides
One
mom
of
and
them,
dad.
I think DiMaggio's character is called Uncle Arthur, if I'm correct. I'll have to look that up again.
Yeah, it was kind of cool because Charles, I was able to tell it was Charles because I first heard a little bit of Wario in his voice, admittedly. I turned to you in the theater and I thought that was him, which would be really funny. But yeah, Charles, Papa Mario is more of Charles' sort of regular-ish voice.
It's actually, I think from what I heard, is that was meant to be what he originally was going to voice Mario in the audition before he obviously chose to go the route he did.
That sort of voice sort of appeared in other projects outside of Nintendo. It's sort of why I heard Wario a bit. And then Giuseppe was more the actual Mario voice.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Charles had, I think there could have been a bit more of Papa Mario. His sort of plotline was only right at the start and then right at the end out of nowhere. Just no real, bit in between where it's like a flashback with a fam. Just really baby Mario, baby Luigi.
Yeah. So let's get on to the best voice and the worst voice.
Your worst voice. My worst voice is probably Toad or Peach's,
But I think we can all agree who's gotten the most flack from everyone.
the flack one is
Cranky Kong. So that's
It's
Fred Armisen is the voice, who has done voice work before. He was look when he's sounding annoyed. That's close to Cranky Kong, but
Cranky's a pissed off man. Cranky
he does not.
He does.
It doesn't work.
He's a guy that would swear if he could. Like, he does not care about the world. He just hates everything in the world. Like, the Cranky Kong of the Country TV show was a pretty on point Cranky Kong. This is just
It's stubbornness and annoyance.
Stubborn and annoying.
And that's it.
That's it. There's not
I mean,
real.
if we are to get more films, I reckon he could get better. But, yeah.
Someone like
Frank-
someone needed to have a bit more bite to make it work.
I think you needed someone like maybe Lewis Black.
I remember Shaffel's Productions recommended Mr. Ping's actor from Poe.
James Hong.
James Hong, yeah. So a bit more
and, you know, if he-
fast-paced. Blah.
Honestly, if he was still alive, I would have had Gilbert Gottfried do it.
Yeah, 100%. Just someone just needed either needed someone better writing, better direction, or someone that had a bit more bite to their attitude.
Yes.
Maybe even spice actor for
Sebastian Maniscalco.
maybe even yeah. And then with Bowser,
Let's get on with Jack
Black stole the show again. Perfect portrayal of Bowser.
He was cast to perfection.
Yeah, it was like out of all the celebrity cast members that were chosen, Bowser's was always just great.
And it was perfect to have him in it because Jack Black endorses video games a lot. I mean, he's
Jablinski Games, Psychonauts.
Brutal Legend. So he's in one of the Tony Hawk games, actually.
Yeah, he's in a lot. He's
And, you know,
really he's a man of the people
and
amongst
you
the
look- and-
Hollywood elite.
And he's also, and people don't know this, but whether this still comes out or not, the upcoming Borderlands movie, he's
Yeah.
going to be Claptrap.
Yeah, he's set to play Claptrap in that if that's the
And
thing.
you know,
that's
look
all.
at all his voice work outside. I mean, if you're going to have anyone in this movie who's an A-list celebrity, Jack Black would have to be the top.
Exactly. Like, I would have been fine if it was Charles Martinet, Mario Luigi, and then still keeping Jack Black as Bowser instead of Kenny James. It just was such a good choice for
Funny
like, any
enough,
celebrity to play.
I think he actually, with Bowser's grunts, if I'm correct, it's actually,
It still supplied Kenny James's voice, yeah.
yeah.
The casting, not horrible, it's pretty good for the most part, pretty fine, I would say.
I
Some
actually think
standouts.
I think, with the exception of a few, they did well. And you know, as we said, there are other actors too. I've already listed John DiMaggio and the actor from Teen Titans Go plays the Penguin King. But Michael Jelenick's daughter actually plays Lumily.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's the child actress. And,
Okay.
And yeah, Jessica Diacchio, I think, plays Mario's mum, and she's a professional voice actress too. I will mention two characters who make cameos, Pauline and Diddy Kong.
Yeah.
So I did check with Pauline, that isn't Kate Higgins who've returned to play her, which I think is a bit disappointing. Diddy Kong, though, is that his actor from the Donkey Kong Country TV series?
I had a look online. It isn't, unfortunately.
Oh, but it sounds exactly
Also
similar.
to confirm, it was confirmed that the woman in the Mario Plumbers commercial wasn't Jan Ellis, the original voice actor for Princess Peach Toadstool in the Super Show cartoon. A lot of people thought it was, and it was her making a remake cameo, but it turned out it wasn't. It was a different actress. Speaking of any like returning voice actors, John Leguizamo, he unfortunately didn't make an appearance, but it would have been cool if he was in it. You know, being the other Luigi.
You never know what can happen with a potential sequel, but I'm not sure if he would want to do it.
I think it would have been cool if he was one of the relatives at the dinner table, you know?
Potentially, yeah.
A bit of a cameo like that.
I think we've talked about the voice cast and the characters. Why don't we do the animation?
Animation? There's nothing real to say. It's pretty good.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Something with Illumination was that whatever you said about the quality of the film, the animation was never a low point. It always either looked fine or good. Some hiccups here and there, but like I never thought the films ever looked bad.
They never look bad, but one of your criticisms is that they obviously go with smaller budgets with certain films. And while some they can work around it, like I think some of the Sing movies have small budgets, but they're able to fit enough in it to justify it.
Yeah.
It's the setting. Others,
Yeah, like the more I've looked over Despicable Me 2's finale, I'm surprised they didn't have like El Macho and Big Purple outfit going a full rampage. But like
the Purple Monster.
Purple Monster.
But your big problem was Despicable Me 3.
yeah, that was pretty cheap. I mean, they were too cheap to even really include bloody Dr. Nefario in the film.
Going into this, I think my favorite Illumination anime movie would actually surprisingly be The Grinch, actually. I thought they used that well enough.
But like going beyond Illumination, this film, Harry, gotta remind ourselves, this movie looked great.
Yeah, this
Action
is their best anime
This is
movie.
their best animated movie.
Well,
It looks-
animation
It
terms.
looks beautiful. It's like vibrant. The
Colourful.
slapstick is like wild. Like
The
they're
characters'
pretty
designs
brutal.
are on par, you
Oh,
know.
they're good
Everything,
designs.
everything looks right.
Yeah, it
does-
looks right.
It might actually be one of my, now close to being my top 20 best looking anime movies. I was impressed with what they've done. And, you know, I will say this, is that it's good that they did what they did with the animation. Now that we're seeing 2D CG hybrids, you know, with, you know, CG films looking more like 2D cartoons or comic books and all that,
Yeah.
it's good to get stuff like this to prove that it can still look well.
Yeah,
and,
100%.
and I'm not against it because last year, I mean, my two favorite anime movies I saw were The Bad Guys and Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, which incorporate that 2D look. So it's not like I'm against it, but I do hope that traditional 3D looks continue on it, and it looks great.
Yeah, 100%. Going from that, the soundtrack's also pretty good. There are a lot of reorchestrations, remakes of classic Mario music, Donkey Kong music as well. Bit of a controversy though. Grant Kirkhope wasn't any of the composers besides Koji Kondo were ever really credited for their contributions to the Mario music, which is a sucky thing.
The fact is, it's not just secluded to him.
Yeah, it's just kind of shitty that they didn't credit anyone.
But yeah.
But besides that, the use of the music pretty good, pretty on point. There were a few pop songs from like that mid-late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah, I think the one we could accept was when they were in Mario and Luigi were in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
And granted, two of our favourite songs are in this. Your Take On Me from a-ha and mine Thunderstruck from AC/DC. Well, it's good to hear them in it. Does it really make sense?
Nah, like Beastie Boys, No Sleep to Brooklyn. I was fine with that, pretty on point.
I guess if you wanted to throw a bit of a song in for when Bowser's attacking the penguins, I guess you could sort of do that.
Yeah, but then there was Holding Out for a Hero. I was perfectly fine with that too. It was peaked in Shrek 2, no doubt, but like it was a good training montage song.
It's not the Jennifer Saunders version.
Yeah, it's a good sort of training montage version. Take On Me was very out of place, especially since we have audio of the cut song that was going to be played, which was a full Donkey Kong Country sort of orchestration remix. And it sounded unreal, but instead it got replaced by a-ha's Take On Me for no reason. And Thunderstruck, its use was when they were building carts. Not riding around the carts, building them. And it just did not work for me. I love the song, but like, why?
Yeah, it is strange. But in terms of the music overall, I thought it was amazing. I thought the credit scene in particular called Level Complete, which is all just this melody of previous Mario songs. It is fantastic.
Yeah.
I love the Superstar theme during the climax.
Just loved hearing the plumber rap again.
Yeah.
Those D cartoons just got so ignored by Nintendo.
There's also there's some other good tracks too, I think. Yeah, I'm trying to think, but I think some of the ones with Bowser when he's arriving to attack the penguins, that's good.
I think what was kind of sad was that he was an executive producer on the side, but I'm surprised Miyamoto didn't have a cameo in the film. I think it would have been like good if he was like, maybe he's in the background somewhere, like maybe the Brooklyn shot at the end, don't hold me to it.
Potentially.
But like, I think Miyamoto should have made it like a little, like it got Martinet in it, but I think Miyamoto, like the god of gaming.
Or other Nintendo people, I think maybe because maybe they elected not to because they wanted to do a lot of Nintendo reps, but maybe they're in the Japanese.
They gave Satoru Iwata a credit at the end there, which
that was sweet.
Because while he wasn't involved in this production, he was alive and likely working on the original Sony 2014
which I'm glad I didn't officiate.
No, I'm sad it didn't. Honestly, it would have been cool seeing what a Mario movie 10 years ago would have been like.
But no, that's not what I meant. It's just I'm personally glad that it wasn't Sony who did this.
Yeah, they've had a bit of a spotty track record, but mate, like, Surf's Up.
Yeah, well, yeah, but
Spider-Man.
I mean, you're doing it with Sony doing a Nintendo movie.
I think that's part of the reason why it's sort of a theory, but the thing is, like, with Sony, like, their PlayStation side is completely different to their music distribution side, film and movies. They're sort of all separate companies within their head.
But the fact is they're doing their own video game movies combining with their movie division, so that's like a bit of a tough one.
They've got a theme park at Universal Studios as well.
It was going to, unless they had acquired DreamWorks earlier, I think it was a certainty that it was going to be Illumination the moment we heard about the theme parks.
Yeah, I think it's kind of funny just on a bit of a world life out of universe discussion, because remember, like, Universal tried to sue Nintendo back in like the early era.
The King Kong, the Donkey Kong, yeah.
Then after that was resolved and Universal fell flat in the face, they went buddy again because The Wizard was filmed on Universal Studios.
It'd be interesting if they ever do a Kirby movie, they reference that, because the lawyer who won Nintendo that lawsuit, his last name is Kirby.
I don't know if that was linked to it because Kirby wasn't developed until a decade later.
Yeah, it's a bit of a reference, but he also owns the license for boats named Kirby.
He's
There's
like
a bit
for
of
Donkey
fame.
Kong and Kirby, I guess.
Well, I think so. Yeah, but
He's got
one
the
or,
license
okay,
to
one or two, maybe it is Donkey Kong. I'll
he's got the
double check
license
that.
to the Donkey Kong boat, yeah.
Yeah, but I guess now we can move on to
Our final thoughts, maybe?
let's talk about first the Nintendo references.
Yeah.
So let's start off with the first one, which we already addressed, Punch Out Pizzeria,
Punch Out got a lot of love. Hell yeah.
and yeah, it was
love Punch
great.
Out.
Yeah,
It's perfect because Mac's set in Brooklyn in the first place.
yeah, I would have personally liked that for the post-credit scene, but I think we'll talk about it after this.
Yeah.
But yeah, we also see references to Ice Climbers, Star Fox, F-Zero,
He plays one of the games at one point.
Kitty Chris.
Kitty Chris. I saw a Pikmin as like
Pikmin's
a
in it.
statue.
There was something else too. An Excite Biker appears at the end.
Wasn't much Zelda references, surprisingly.
No Zelda, no Metroid, no Kirby.
I understand Pokemon because that's sort of its own separate thing.
I think that, again, whether or not whether this is sort of suggesting Smash
There'll be a
Brothers.
shared universe with Smash. That is the dream, after all.
That is the dream, but let's first discuss.
The post-credit scene.
Yes, okay, so I will first say this: the climax of this film is fantastic.
Fantastic climax. It's great they brought it back to Brooklyn because I did miss seeing it, admittedly.
Although I will admit, when we get to the end of this, we see Mario and Luigi soon enough to get started on another job, and they walk out to the Mushroom Kingdom. I was honestly surprised it wasn't actually a
merged kingdom.
merged world.
Yeah, because the whole world got sucked into Brooklyn. I'm surprised that
And you can see the Toads rebuilding everything from the climax after everything got transported to Brooklyn.
Yeah, I totally would have been loved if
why
it was.
not?
Yeah, I think it would have been cool. Like, it's a bit of a risk to destroy the Mushroom Kingdom, but I think it would have been kind of cool if Mario and Luigi were still in like a shared universe Brooklyn.
Yeah. But yeah, so the first credit scene isn't nothing special. It's Bowser being in prison singing his Peaches song again.
Good song.
Interesting is that the Illumination executives say they're going to submit it for an Oscar, but
That's a stretch for an Oscar.
I know, yeah. Maybe for an Annie Award, but that'll be it.
I mean, a Raspberry Award would be more like it,
But yeah, so the post-credit scene is once again in the sewers where Mario and Luigi first found the pipe that took them to the Mushroom Kingdom, and we see a Yoshi egg, and it cracks, and we hear
Kazumi Tataka playing Yoshi.
Now that was the best thing of that, hearing Kazumi Tataka. So he's the only person working at Nintendo to play a character in this.
100%.
But yeah, it was a bit of a letdown because one of the shots we see as Mario, Peach, and Toad are walking to the Kong Kingdom is a Yoshi's Island.
Yeah, or like a place where Yoshis are just running past.
Yeah, so it's not really much of a big reveal. It's not like Tails' post-credit scene in Sonic 1 or Shadow in
Because it's-
in,
yeah.
okay, Shadow's 1 and Sonic 2 works because while they do set up Gun, it's just, hey, Gun's now a thing, but they don't exactly say Shadow the Hedgehog.
The Tails cameo worked because it was sort of relevant to Sonic's story. You know, it's a person from his home planet trying to meet up with him. What does Yoshi appearing mean? This doesn't relate to Peach's human backstory, which was a plot element introduced and just sort of dropped.
Yeah.
It doesn't relate to
Donkey Kong?
Doesn't relate to Mario and Luigi. It's just, oh, cool, Yoshi egg.
The hint is that it is actually the main Yoshi from the games, and as you said, it is Kazumi Tataka returning to play him. But it is actually set up earlier because when Bowser's wedding guests are dropping gifts, we actually see the egg dropped off there, so that's how it ended up there.
Yeah.
But when Mario caused the bonsai build to explode in the wall pipe, sending everyone to the real world. But yeah, honestly, it would have been better if they had shown a character that wasn't exactly referenced. Like, as I said, Lumely's in it, so why not feature Rosalina? Why not Daisy, because her emblem makes an appearance somewhere in the background of Toad Town? Why not Wario and Waluigi interacting with Four-Man Spike? Why not Birdo, actually?
Just something, that attaches to the storyline that we've seen.
It's got to be a character, and it's got to be someone that isn't directly shown in the film. Or, even better, why not actually show a bit of a reference to the Shawarma post-credit scene in The Avengers? Why not have Mario, Luigi, Peach, Toad, Donkey Kong, and Mario's family in at Punch Out Pizzeria, and then all of a sudden Little Mac and Doc Lewis show up? That would have been perfect.
That would have been cute. That would have been real cute. It was one that still got a good reaction from the crowd that we were in. Everyone loved it.
And
I liked
there
it.
got a lot of reactions on YouTube to that.
But it could have been something that would have been a bit more relevant to the story at hand.
Yeah. One last thing before we wrap up is your favourite moment in this.
Favorite moments? I don't know, I think I just like the Brooklyn, both at the start and a bit at the end, more at the start.
What-
I just like Mario and Luigi being from Brooklyn. It was just sort of that, like, part of their history that I really missed as after, you know, the cartoons from the 90s ended and they sort of walked away from it, even with New Donk City in place.
Okay.
Something I did like, and I liked seeing Mario and Luigi's family, the absolutely horrid parents that named their son Mario and their
Well, we
brother-
don't hear last name, so that's good.
Yeah, sure.
But in terms of my fan moment, King Bomb blowing up. That was my favorite
Yeah,
moment.
dude got decimated. Rest in peace.
I love that. Even when Ilanagi showed up to eat Mario and Donkey Kong, that just got me so much.
Yeah, that was a good scene. Well, I think we talked quite a bit about the Mario movie so far, Harry. Might as well do our final thoughts now.
Yep, and we'll wrap it up. Yep. And here we go. That's our review of the Super Mario Bros. Movie. So let's start off by saying what we would give this out of 10.
All right, you go first, Harry.
Well, actually, you're my guest. You do it.
Fair enough. Well, okay, so again, want to reiterate, I did like the movie, but it's definitely not a like world-class movie, not like something that's of deep meaning. It's not meant to be. It's just a fun Mario romp. But I definitely think it could have used a little bit more substance to it. So if I had to give a score, that's 6.5.
Well, I liked it more than you, and as I said, it got better after a second viewing. I'm going to give us an 8.5. I had a blast the whole way through. It was probably one of the best video game adaptations I've seen. In fact, if you were to ask me whether I thought this was better than the Sonic movies, it's definitely better than the first movie, honestly.
Yeah, I haven't watched both Sonic movies. I've only watched the first one, so I don't really have much of an opinion on that. But I do hear that Sonic 2 was better than Sonic 1. So.
It's definitely, both Sonic 2 and this movie are on the same scale in my view. So I guess the next thing we should say is what we would hope for a sequel and potential future of partnerships of Nintendo and films. I guess we should say for a sequel of this, we obviously know it would be centered around Yoshi.
Yeah.
And of course, we would expect to see more characters show up, like as we said, Rosalina, Wario, Waluigi, Daisy, Birdo.
Bowser would have some sort of return.
Bowser Jr. would probably be referenced or something.
Maybe the Koopalings if we're lucky.
I mean, if there was a piano reference.
Ludwig was mentioned on the keyboard. So.
Yeah, and again, Nintendo references as well, like maybe Duck Hunt or something. But I will say this. In terms of what we could get, Seth Rogen and Charlie Day have both supported the idea of getting a Donkey Kong Country spin-off film and a Luigi's Mansion spin-off film, which I can see happening, because obviously we see the Kong Kingdom and King Boo appears in the wedding reception, so both seeds are planted.
And I think a Luigi's Mansion movie would help with the plot elements of Luigi's relationship to Mario, because we get a little bit of it in the film, but like I think it's more Mario's test it's more shown.
Yeah, and and Donkey Kong Country as well, I mean, could see a bit more of how their kingdom works and all that.
Diddy and Dixie were in there for a
and,
cameo.
and throwing maybe Luigi's Mansion with the changes to characters, along with getting King Boo, but you could also maybe throw in Professor Egad, but also maybe have this be the film that introduces Daisy.
It's just been cool having I haven't really seen many family-friendly horror films out there.
You never know.
Cool to have that.
Never know, yeah. And as for whether we think this could lead to a Nintendo cinematic universe, because there are obviously a ton of references. At this stage, until we probably see, well, as we said, there is a lot Punch-Out Pizzeria, and it's implied that Punch-Out characters exist in this.
In the Mario world, yeah.
Unless we get to see them, or they just do their own solo Zelda, Metroid, Kirby, anything like that, or even another Pokemon attempt separate from the anime, I don't think it's worth doing it at this stage.
I think the first, next sort of property that goes beyond Mario would probably be Zelda. I think that's what we'd all be hoping for.
Yeah.
Seeing a proper fantasy Zelda film.
Yeah, and not just that proof of concept trailer.
Exactly, from Imagi Studios, the same guys as Astro Boy and TMNT.
I will say this, when it comes to future videos, the two of us are probably going to do the same thing when Five Nights at Freddy's comes out.
Yeah, because obviously Five Nights at Freddy's a big part of my childhood. I mean, a lot of our childhoods, bit of my generation.
Teenage years, yeah.
Perfect film for it.
I will. I'm not on the same scale, but I will give it a go. Other than that, in terms of films, the only thing I can maybe see that we could do, depends if you have time, is maybe Spider-Verse 2.
Yeah, we'll see how we go.
That's the only thing I can maybe see you watching.
Yeah, I did quite like Spider-Verse 1. Wasn't head over heels for it, but I saw what people were. And, it was still a great movie, and I loved its style. So keen to see what the sequel will be all about.
Yeah.
Since there was a trailer for it for the Mario during the Mario movie.
There is a bit of a plan we have of a video game series, but we're not going to say anything about it here because it's going to be a bit of a different sort of video.
Especially since it will probably be more of a podcast, I'd even argue, with this device like we're doing today. But
Yeah.
we'll see how we go.
Yeah, it would be, I guess, a 6/ maybe 7 or 8 video series. It just depends whether we want to include the 2 spin-offs.
Yeah. It'll be quite long videos as well,
Oh,
which I
yeah.
think I'll just keep to being audio. I'd
Yeah,
say.
there's a fair chance it'll probably go for over an hour for most of them. That's it.
Thank you very much for bringing me on the show again, Harry.
It was
It's
good
nice
to
being
it
here.
was good to have you back, bro.
Good.
So in the meantime, you will see me for my next video. Not sure what it will be. In terms of upcoming video reviews, one would be Guardians Volume 3, but there may be something else in between that in terms of films released in theaters. And I might return to some video games, actually. But in the meantime, this is Hazard from Hazard Reviews out, and
This is Bradley from the B-Rad channel, signing out. Remember to be strong, be ferocious, most importantly, be rad.
I can't answer that, so ciao. Have a good time. See you in the next video. Bye.
Bye. Thank you for watching our video.